Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we are back working on the Olds Toronado project, trying to get this thing on the road. Yeah, I know it's been a while, but hey, good things take time. We're going to do the rear brakes on this thing. I've got a bunch of parts that have come in. We got to put some tires underneath this thing to make it safe, and I'll show you in the video later on what happened with the tires on this car, which was, you know, a little scary. And I was lucky. And we're going to just go over the vehicle once and for all and get it roadworthy. We're even going to throw some hubcaps on it that we've got in the trunk and make it look a little bit better and give you an idea of what it's going to look like in the future after a little bit of cosmetic stuff. But other than that, let's get into the video.
So here she is. She's in the driveway, all fours in the air on jack stands, ready to tackle the rear brakes. Here you can see how the metal work was, or the rust was repaired before. I mean, yeah, there's some body work left, but really, it's not bad. Like, there are no holes. It's just a matter of sanding that down, maybe putting a bit of skim coat in there, priming it and painting it. Frame and everything. I've been underneath the car. There's no holes in the floor, absolutely nothing. So that should be a pretty easy repair, or at least to make it more presentable without worrying about big holes. Here on this side, I did a little bit of color match test. I took some spray paint I had and just sprayed it on there. I think we can match that okay for the most part. And as I was moving this old girl into the driveway off the gravel, there was this sound like a gunshot that went off right when I was backing into the cul-de-sac. And here's what happened. This tire, and I have no idea how old this is. It's a Goodyear Arriva. So if you guys know how old Goodyear Arrivas are, let me know in the comments. I think it's got to be somewhere in the 90s. But we're on the way to the tire store. We're going to get 4 new tires. I've actually grabbed a spare just to make sure that all these steel wheels can be can hold a tire, unless there's, or there could be some rust somewhere on the bead. But we're getting our way to the tire store. Then when we come back, we are going to tackle them rear brakes. We just finished cleaning up these tires that I got. Challenging to find a decent used tire that has a white wall on it. A lot of tires these days don't have white walls, or they have white lettering or whatnot. And I wanted the white wall. These are a pretty darn good set, 95%. And they were like a third of the price of new. They got lots of life left on them. So that's looking pretty good. I'm glad the white wall's cleaned up. Just a sneak peek. Sneak peek of what they look like on the front of the car. Not bad. Hubcaps on there and it'll look really good. Okay, so lots of fun here. This rear rubber line was just as challenging as the front rubber lines, except worse. And that guy looks not the best, but I did get them off. They do spin, so I think I can keep those lines. I've saved the lines. Wheel cylinders will be a challenge on the other end, as will the other end of the rubber line, which is the next thing to do here. So hopefully I can get that without busting that line going to the front, because that's a long one. Well, that was a fight and a half, but I finally got this rubber line off that goes to the rear wheels from the frame rail. Man, was that hard. This was the hardest one yet. Well, partially because there's 3 connection points. Partially because this one, which goes to the frame, which goes to the master cylinder, is like a 9/16 nut. And that was frozen in there big time, rusted. And I couldn't get much more than a 9/16 wrench in there. I couldn't get my flare nut wrench in there. It was too bulky, too thick. It's just the way the frame runs and where this kind of goes through and it's captured. It's just, there's not a lot of room. I could barely even get a vice grip in there. But it came off, luckily for me. And I didn't damage that line that goes to the frame, to the master cylinder. So I put some air in this guy. Very little comes out. I mean, it does pass, but very little comes out and goes to each wheel. So I'm going to replace on this, put the new one in, Now I'll have no more rubber flex line issues in the entire car because all the lines are replaced. Whew, did it without breaking any of the lines, but hopefully that's the same case. If I have to replace wheel cylinders, what I got to take the drums off and do a little survey of what it needs in there and go from there. So let's take the drums off and go inside. Well, had to move the car back into the gravel because that rear drum is going to be a bit messy and I don't want to do that on the driveway. Other than that, it was noisy as hell out there. So we're doing it all back in the gravel. Yeah, we've got knee pads and we got a jack and a jack stand, and let's pull tire and get into the brakes. I got some parts over there, spring kit and whatnot, and wheel cylinders in the house. So let's see what happens here. When we pull that drum, rear drum looks like a rear drum. One-handed, oh yeah. Look at that, one-handed, yanked it. Yeah, so let's get that off and I'll get you back in here. So here's what we're looking at, and I can already see that there is minimal shoe life left, but I'm not going to replace the shoes right now. We're just going to get this thing rolling. Ooh, yeah, there's not much. Corner chipped off. Maybe I should replace the shoes, but I don't have shoes, so we're not going to do that. And oh, missing one of these guys, whatever they're called, that holds the shoe to the backing plate. So that's gone. Adjuster and everything is still there. So looks like we're going to yank this thing apart. Going to clean it up a little bit. I'm going to replace the wheel cylinder. I do have another wheel cylinder. And then, I mean, that's going to entail the line on the back. Oh, another heat and WD-40 for an hour. And then, yeah, we got another spring kit. I'm going to throw a spring kit in there, and the shoes, yikes. The shoes will just have to survive. I mean, I'm not going to restore this car. I'm just getting it running and driving. And you know what? Someone else can restore it. Here we go. A little bit more of that fantastic bodywork, but there's no like no rust. It's all been repaired. It's just clean it up. A little bit of undercoating in there, and then clean this up, spray it with some silver paint, be done. Some more interesting stuff here on the back. On the rear, on the drums, this lip here. Yeah, there's a crack. And there's a piece gonna come off right here. Let's just, there. That doesn't have to fall off. We don't need to worry too much about that. Is the shoe really going to be wearing in that area? Yeah, probably not. It's probably more, whoops, hitting the camera. It's probably more inboard in here, so yeah. Rear brakes will need to be done, but not from me. I'm just gonna get her running and driving. Well, fight after fight with these lines, but looks like we've almost got this one loose. Yeah, the nut is mangled. It's a 7/16, but it's about a 7/16 vice grip now. But anyways, just got to loosen the two bolts, get some clearance here, pull the wheel cylinder off, and then we'll put the new wheel cylinder on. But that was a fight and a half. Oh, old car life. And we got basically everything gutted on this side that needs to be gutted. We'll just clean that off here. So I'll get myself a bucket because I'm leaking brake fluid into the gravel, and we'll keep moving. Yes, there you have it. One really frozen wheel cylinder. Hey, it wasn't leaking, right? But this thing was like, there's no way to compress those pistons. It is done. It's, you know, probably original to the car, honestly. I don't know if there's any way you can tell, but that one's done. Line is loose. We're gonna hose this down right now with a little bit of brake clean, or a lot of brake clean, or a can of brake clean. get that all in there, clean that as best we can, and then it's back with a brand new wheel cylinder, and it's the reverse. So I'll bring you guys in here once, that's about 3/4 of a can there, nice. Yeah, feeling good. I'll bring you guys back in here once I've got the wheel cylinder in and I've got the shoes more or less positioned, and we'll be going with the springs after that. So see you in a minute. All right, well, we basically have the driver's side done, or do we? So as I was installing the wheel cylinder, the spring kit, I was going through the bleeding procedure, so I was actually getting the drum back on. The rear portion of the brake shoes disbonded, so this completely disbonded, and I was looking at it and I was saying, yeah, it looks pretty thin. I should replace those. Well, guess what? I'm going to be replacing those now. I do have another set of rear shoes, so I'll put this side all together and I'll show you the finished product, and then we'll go through and we'll bleed it and then do the other side. So there you go. So don't cheap out, don't be like me and try to get away with doing the bare minimum. Replace some brake shoes. These were like, I don't know, 30 bucks, 20 bucks for the set of shoes, both sides. And the reason why I didn't want to do them was because I couldn't get any locally to me. So again, I had to order them and I had to wait a few days because it is a few days later. But brake shoes going on, and then I'll show you the finished product. All right, so we got ourselves a set of brand new brake shoes on this rear drum now. So rear shoes have been replaced. We've got our spring kit back on, new wheel cylinder in place, where we should have been the other day, but hey, you know, that's the way things go. Sometimes you try to cut corners a little bit and things tell you, no, you should not. So it's nice to have all good brakes on this car. I do have some front pads, but that's another story. The front pads are actually really good and the fronts do work well. So now we're gonna have 4-wheel brakes on this thing. Couple tips for those of you that are installing shoes. A lot of times you're gonna see 2 different lengths of friction material on the shoes. Always the longer friction material or the longer shoe material goes to the rear of the drum, because this is the primary shoe and this is the secondary shoe, and that's just how they are designed. So these will go the other way, but you'll find out once you put them on that you don't have the right braking that you anticipate. And put the back shoe on, or the shoe that has your adjusting wheel and everything, all that stuff on first. It's really straightforward. And then you put your front shoe on, and then from there you're just putting your spring kit on and making sure your adjusting wheel is in the right spot, and put the drum on and go to town. So we'll do some bleeding here, and there's a bee flying around trying to sting me, or is that a wasp? Anyways, yeah, we're gonna put the drum back on and do some bleeding, and then hopefully the next time we're driving this thing. So we put 2 hubcaps on just to see how they work. Pain in the butt actually, because you've got the wheel weights in the wrong spot. There are cutouts on the hubcaps, or areas where the little fingers are not there, where hopefully the wheel weights would be, but yeah, I had to bend some back. But we got the hubcaps on, we got the right white walls, blah, 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 going on there, and it looks like crap, but it looks better than it did before. It's just some spray balm just to cover up that. So the rust repair that was done before, now when you look kind of past it a little bit, if I was to sand that properly and prime it up and everything, it might not even look that bad. So she's starting to come around, starting to look like the ocean liner that she is. All right, well, that gives us brakes on all 4 wheels now, and we got some tires on there, and we even got some hubcaps on there, and this girl's looking okay, but I do need to clean it out before I drive it next. It is gross inside. There's a lot of rat droppings and stuff like that. I don't want to sit in there for any extended period of time. I also need to go through and clean up a few other things in the trunk. There's a lot of old parts and stuff in there rolling around. And I need that front sway bar end link bushing, which I'm going to throw in there. I won't film that, but that was broken during lifting up the car and doing the front brake lines in the garage. So I got to replace that because this thing needs every bit of suspension it can, because she's going to lean like all the way under the door handles, I'm sure, when I take a corner. So that's going to be the next video. I got to run and get some insurance as well, and we're going to go take this thing for a test drive and see how well she does, and see if that cooling system, which I haven't touched yet, is gonna survive. I hope I didn't jinx myself there, but I
do think that there's a little bit of hose age that might show itself, but we'll give her a shot. So anyways, I hope you liked the video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thanks for being patient. And this old girl will be hitting the road soon for some cruising and maybe something else in the future for her. We'll see. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye for now.